Episode of Charlie Mike the podcast. As always, I'm your host Raul and your co-host William.
Welcome back, everybody. We're still getting used to this, clearly, so hopefully the rest of the show will go pretty smoothly.
Yeah, y'all don't know, but that's take like 11. What you been up to, William?
Man, life is good, and I'm blessed. It's great to be here. We survived Veterans Day. That was a busy weekend, bro.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on, especially here in the Houston community. I hope you guys got out, got some nice treats. And if you haven't heard it, thank you for your service, man. We really appreciate you guys out there continuing to serve, continue to be part of the veteran community. There is a whole tribe of us that are continuing to thrive, and we're glad you're part of it.
Yes, definitely. I had an eventful weekend. I went to my niece's school had an event, and then they played the different branches song,
Right.
and then had the veterans come down like the aisle of the cafeteria, and it was kind of cool because you kind of felt like you were a superstar.
Yeah.
The little kids were screaming.
Wait until they get in the middle school or high school. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well.
And then I had lunch, around.
And then I had lunch with my daughter, which was similar to that, but that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's come to find out our kids go to the same middle school and have the same lunch period. It's weird, man.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It is.
That's good. Well, today we have another guest in studio. Clearly, it's usually what we do. But this is not his first time with us. The first time with us was, well, what did you say? May? I think it was May.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in hearing a lot more of the backstory, you've got a phenomenal story, clearly. We'll be looking forward to that book to come out. But today we have Mr. Jeff Pickard join us. He was in the Navy, then went into the Army, received a Purple Heart while he was with the Army. Phenomenal story, long lineage of veterans of military service, a granddad, jack of all trades, very active in our veteran community. And when we had him on prior, we discussed briefly, mostly we discussed the story, what Charlie Mike is, how he continues his mission, how he refined himself. And we brushed lightly on the Waves Project and what they were doing. They were getting ready to do their classes, and so it's nice to kind of catch it back up and hear the end, since you're going to your non-training period.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if you're interested in hearing more of Jeff's story, please look back in the archives. There's a great episode there. I know we had a lot of fun. Jeff, why don't you tell us what you've been up to since the last time you've been on?
Wow, what haven't I been up to? Well, training class ended in October. We had our first actual golf tournament fundraiser for the Waves Project, which for the first one, it turned out pretty good. Made a little bit of money for the Waves Project and everything like that. Our president and founder and his wife actually came out for the tournament and everything like that. So everything turned out really good. No stress there having them come out, but But and then we also, as the president, founder, and my scuba instructor, I end up going through classes when he comes out. Every time I see the man, I go through classes to advance my training so that I can further along the veterans training. So now, with the classes that I went through, I can teach all the way up to dive master out here for our veterans, which is a safety in the water for scuba divers, for instructors. And then if they want to go further, I'll just ship them to California for that.
Right. So if you are unfamiliar and you're just joining us, you don't want to go back, what the Waves Project is, why don't you tell us roughly who you are and what you guys do?
Okay. Again, I'm Jeff Pickard, retired U.S. Army, 10 years Navy, 5.5 Army. The Waves Project is an acronym. It's Wounded American Veterans Experience Scuba. So what we do is we take veterans with VA ratings, a percentage that they earned while on active duty and they got injured, or after the fact and they're getting ratings because of the injuries are surfacing, and a buddy of their choice. So the rating is 0 to 100. There's no special, you have to be a certain percentage like some other organizations. We're 0 to 100, and as long as you can swim, you can scuba dive. So we take them, the veteran, and a buddy of their choice, and we teach them how to scuba dive for free.
Now, does the buddy have to be military affiliated?
No, it's a buddy of their choice. So we encourage the family members, the spouse, the siblings, close family, friends, battle buddies even. I mean, we want to give the battle buddies, if that battle buddy has a thing, we'll put them both in the same class so they're there with their families. But we really encourage who they want, because if that veteran wants to go scuba diving for some reason and I'm not available, which a lot of them call me and go, hey Jeff, you want to go scuba diving? And it is true. They can go and I will loan them the gear, because we have all the gear, we supply all the gear. I'll loan them and their buddy the gear, and they just have to fill up the air tanks and bring back all the gear in the same condition it was. And they can go scuba diving with them because they're certified together. They can go scuba diving anywhere in the world. The certification is worldwide. But they can go scuba diving because, for me, it's very therapeutic. It's very, you have a lot of background noise, a lot of, I have the ringing in my ears, I have the gunshot wound to my left shoulder. So when I go scuba diving, everything goes quiet, peaceful, and if any veteran gets just a little bit of that, which they usually do because you become weightless, so aches and pains go away. You're not thinking of stuff, you're just relaxing. And it's amazing how relaxing it can be once they get past the initial training and the nervousness of what they have to do in order to get certified.
I can imagine. That's something that we need to do. I think that would be beneficial to both of us.
Man, I think you're right. I think we've mentioned this. I think there's a way for us to kind of go there, help document too, and broadcast the message. So again, if you're a veteran out there and you're watching and you're interested, there is a path for you to go become scuba certified. You can do that with a buddy, as long as you have a 0% rating for anything, anywhere from 0 to 100, and you can swim. You can apply, and you can go be scuba certified. I've done it. I've done the application, and hopefully next year I'll be able to say that I'm scuba certified.
Yeah, hopefully that's this coming May through October out here is when we do scuba dive training. And I'm getting Will in there. Did you put your application in?
No, I haven't, but I will today.
Okay. www.wavesproject.org.
That's right. That's for any of you out there, not just Raul. So wavesproject.org. There's a pretty simple application. I know that. And you were just saying that before we came on there, that it's getting a lot easier for you guys to kind of fill out the applications to streamline the process.
Yeah, we're streamlining the process a lot to where your point of contact is only one person for a lot of the information, a lot of the forms that have to be signed, the things that have to be done, the medicals that have to be completed before you can get in the water. Again, I tell all the veterans that fill out the forms out here, if they're having problems with their VA doctors, please reach out to either our headquarters, Todd out there, or myself, because I actually have phone numbers of the hyperbaric doctors here in Texas, the one in Galveston, as well as a few others in Austin and stuff, that can educate our VA doctors and make sure that the VA doctor has a warm and fuzzy of, hey, I'm good to go with you doing this because even though you have these medical conditions, it'll be safe for you, type of thing. Right. Because we want it all to be safe. We do,
So you did hit on it a little bit. What are some of the benefits of going scuba diving for a veteran with some type of?
Well, I personally have PTSD. I have a TBI. I have a gunshot wound through my left shoulder. I have 2 bulging discs. I have 4 herniated discs. I have 2 fractures. I have degenerative arthritis. I'm 356% broken through the VA. They only pay for 100% because I really wouldn't have to do anything if they paid 356.
That'd be nice, though, wouldn't it?
I know. I'd be rolling deep. But yeah. So, but when I go scuba diving, getting in the water and being weightless, your aches and pains go away. And a lot of the doctors are like, "Oh, it's due to hyperbaric," but I have friends that do hyperbaric and they don't get the same relief. Hyperbaric is the high oxygen concentrate in a pressurized tank, which actually, if you have a dive-related injury, you would go into a hyperbaric chamber and be taken back down to the depth that incident happened at and be brought back up. But for scuba diving, which is very, very safe, regardless of, we'll sit there and tell you all the bad things about it, it is the safest thing I've ever done. You can ask my wife that. It's just the partial pressure and then the mindfulness. It's just me and my dive buddy, or even in a class, it's just me and it's them, and that's it. everything disappears once you go below the surface. I mean, it's like
Right.
your phone doesn't work because I take my phone down. My phone becomes my my photo camera underwater in a special case, but that's it. It doesn't get phone calls, doesn't get text messages, doesn't do anything. So and then going out, like we have an annual trip every year down to Roatan, Honduras, and we do some training down there, but we get to go down, we get to see the sea life, we get to see cuttlefish, we get to see, Goliath groupers, we get to see tons of stuff, and then also partnering for the veterans that are interested, we partner with the national parks as well as still trying to get the NOAA thing going down here. It's just the weather's not cooperating. And we do mission-oriented diving. So we, as the service member has always been trained to do the mission, we give them a mission with scuba diving included. So it gives them that purpose, it gives them that goal. You finish that goal, you can move on to the next goal. We went down to the dry tortugas and we replaced 52 buoys out there in a 3.5 acre park in Fort Jefferson, the dry tortugas. And it took us 10 days to do it. We did it in 8, so we had 2 days to goof off. But you give veterans a purpose and a mission, they're going to get it done.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I was teaching a class today, and that's one of the things that one of the kids was asking, what do you think is still great or beneficial to go join the military? I said, it's the intangibles, and we talk about it here a lot, clearly. But it's the employers that are like, veterans, you can give them a goal, and then they'll go do that, and they don't need a whole lot of directions, but they will follow orders. They're disciplined, they're task orientated, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so what I hear you saying is there's lots of benefits, not just physically, not just mentally, not just spiritually. So you kind of have the entire compass, the whole thing, the whole person,
the whole realm of everything. You get to hang out with other veterans, so you're in that like-minded community. You're learning something new with a bunch of veterans who don't know anything about it, and then you build a community where the camaraderie is back. Hey, we're going to go scuba diving this weekend, and I've created a group page out here just for us Texans, so that if somebody goes, hey, I want to go scuba diving, who's with me? Somebody else can do, hey, I'm available. Does Jeff have the gear? Let's call him. Call Jeff and come by and get the gear type stuff.
You know, one thing I love about it is that it's when you think of veteran events, a lot of it is surrounded around alcohol and things of that nature. And for the struggling veteran who's an alcoholic trying to be clean, or it's something.
So that's the nice thing about scuba diving. You cannot drink alcohol. As soon as you drink alcohol, for that day, your scuba diving's done. Now, yes, at the end of the day, you're done, you're tired, and you're going to kick back and believe you me, you're down there, you're peaceful, you're floating around, you think, oh, I'm not using a lot. But you get up there, you're like, man, did I just unload a cord of wood out of my truck? I just did that today with my son. Or something, your body, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna drink a couple beers. Usually it's like you have one drink and you're crashed out. And you sleep really good. It's like when the people are going through the class originally, I'll ask the next day, I'm like, how'd you sleep? Man, I barely made it home, and I sat down, had enough energy to eat something, and they fall asleep. And then they wake up the next morning and do it again.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. And it's very restful sleep. They're like, I slept through the night. I slept through, I normally get up 6-7 times at night. It's a restful sleep because they've activated their mind and their body to continue through to where they get that restful sleep. They're not restless at night.
The only thing I can really relate that to for me is I like to ride motorcycles, and when I do ride, I'm very, very vigilant.
Yeah.
And it's, obviously there's no cars, so you get the wind element. I don't have my phone on me. And I'm just in that moment in traffic or on the bike because I can't do a whole lot. All my ligaments or everything is engaged in something, and then my mind is engaged in where I'm going.
Oh yeah. Every part of your body has a task that has to be done. Throttle, clutch, brake, shift.
And then when you go diving too, you take out one of your senses, right? Like you can't use all of them.
You can't. Well, you take out a couple of them. You can't talk, and you can't hear anything.
Mm.
So you take out two senses, but your the communication we have is by hand signals, and when you start diving, you can kind of anticipate what somebody's thinking, especially when it's like, hey, there's a boat up there, and you look up and there's a boat going by, but you can hear the boat, and the boat's 25 miles off, and you can't see anything, but you hear it like it's right above you, because sound travels 4 times faster in water than it does in air. So,
Right.
but you just, or you see a turtle or a cuttlefish, and you get to see them in their natural habitat. An eagle ray cruising by, a group of eagle rays, or a turtle. The one things a dolphin. Yeah, you get to see a dolphin. They're cool and everything, but you want to make sure you don't get the ones that are angry or mad. You want to make sure they've already passed around the pufferfish, because dolphin actually get high off pufferfish venom.
Right, I've heard that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
Yeah. So it's like puff, puff, pass. Puff, puff, pass. But yeah, teaching, and then we continue with, if they want to get more education and more training, we teach them wreck diving, we teach them deep diving, we teach them, now I can teach people first aid, CPR, AED, O2, so that they can become rescue divers to actually participate in rescues and things like that. So then they're more accomplished and more confident in the water.
Yeah, so this isn't just something that you can come be, it's a one-stop, right? It's work to get you started, to get you certified. 2 weekends, correct?
2 weekends?
2 weekends.
Yeah, a Friday and then 2 weekends, yes. The
Right.
Friday evening's the class.
So 5 days, maybe, total. And then there's that continuing education. So you can go, you can get that certification, and you hear it here, Jeff is getting recertified every time. Every time the big guy comes in town,
Every
he's like,
time.
hey, I got a new class for you.
Yeah.
So as his certifications go up, he can teach more.
Right.
And if you're interested in getting more involved and getting higher training, it's what better place than with your community that you're...
Exactly. But the thing is, what's nice about the Waves Project is if you just want to become an open water diver and that's your passion, that's it, we're more than happy to have you come out and just fun dive with us to keep up your skills and everything like that. And if you go a few years without scuba diving, you call me up, you email me, and be like, hey, I need a recertification. Not a problem. Get it back out in the water. It's like riding a bike. It's just a little more, safety precautions and things like that. But getting them recertified because they're going on that, they've got that once in a chance lifetime trip that, they found through a veteran organization or something like that. And they go, oh, there's scuba diving available. Well, I want to do that because I'm certified, but I need a refresher. I always tell people, hit me up. Hit me up. If you're going on one of those, hit me up. If you're going on a dive destination, hit me up, because we need to do an enriched air class, nitrox class, because then you can dive more. And we need to do a deep dive class and stuff like that. That's why we do the annual trip out to Roatan, Honduras, is we actually teach classes out there. We teach a rec class, we teach a deep dive class, a night dive class, things like that, for the veterans who have just gone through our program.
Mm. So I'm a member of their page, and I see they're fairly active. There's a lot going on. People just saying, hey, do you want to go dive? And they'll go get the stuff together. Or, again, plan events, plan trips for the classes. So it's not just a one-time incident. It's like you can come, you can get scuba certified, and then you can continue, keep coming back, because there's always something more for you to do. And it's not all just, well, it is all fun and games, but it's not all just fun and games. There's also a bigger mission, taking care of the parks, right, you mentioned?
Yeah, we help the national parks with mission-oriented diving for that. We've done archaeological surveys. We've done scientific surveys. We've done OSHA buoy replacement out there. We're doing a new survey up in Lake Michigan. Talk about cold.
Yeah.
Even during the summer, the water temperature at depth is 50, a little below 50.
Wow.
So it's dry suit. So if you want to get dry suit certified and purchase a dry suit, we can do that. All the proceeds. Waves Project does sell gear, so all the proceeds go back to the veteran to the organization to help train other veterans as well as themselves. But we do sell quality gear and everything like that too.
Nice. So I think we touched a little bit about the golf tournament that you
Right.
had, that y'all had put on recently.
Yep.
What, tell us, a little, how did that all come about? Are you an avid golfer?
No, not so much. Yeah, miniature golf. I'm good. No, so Waves, our headquarters in California had a golf tournament the previous year, and they raised about $15,000, which was great for their first one, and everything. And so he's talking about it. So I was really kicking the idea around. That was scuba diving was less stressful for me. Getting the golf tournament, going out there. I'm not a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to. I'm not a salesman. If you want to do it, great. If you don't want to do it, I don't care.
Right.
But going out there, getting the sponsorships and everything like that. We had it at the Magnolia Creek Golf Course in League City, Texas, and it turned out great. The people there were great. We had a bunch of great raffle prizes. We sold raffle tickets when we were there. Everybody had a great time, which was my biggest concerns. I just wanted, I could care less what happened. Everybody had a great time. The beer was flowing, water was flowing, Gatorade was flowing, everything. Everybody was having fun. Food, everybody was eating while they were playing. It happened. We did it in October. It was a little overcast, but it was a great day. Everybody had a light jacket on. They all had fun. We actually had a hole-in-one sponsor from Ron Carter Dodge.
Wow.
In League City, and they sponsored a hole-in-one for a car. You had the opportunity to win a car. Somebody got within 4 feet of the hole to win the car. If they would have had a spin on that thing, they would have won the car that day. That's how close it came.
Dang.
And it was good. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What type of events you got coming up in the near future? You have anything y'all looking forward to?
Well, I'm getting our trailer finished being wrapped and everything, so we have all the logos on there and everything. Part of my boss coming out here to get me certified up for more training, he brought out all the gear that I've been raising money for. So he brought out about $6,000 worth of new scuba gear for me, and then I had to send back some regulators that we use to breathe get serviced every year or every 2 years depending on the regulator. So I sent them all back. So he's getting them serviced and then sending them all back with new dive computers. So I got a bunch of new scuba gear. And I got our trailer done inside. So now next year we're gonna have a bunch of gear, a bunch of new gear, and everything. So and next year's gonna be an exciting year and everything like that. I'm looking forward to it.
So now that you're like in charge of a what is it, area?
Yeah, I'm the coordinator for the Texas.
So how often do you yourself go diving?
So I've made some really nice close friends in the scuba diving community here locally that are veterans, and they'll see me. One of them, his name's John Flanagan. He's a retired senior chief from the Navy. He sees me and he's like, "We need to go scuba diving. We just need to go." Like during the winter, right now when it's cold, I have a dry suit, so I would put my dry suit on and go in the water. And what a dry suit is basically I don't get wet. The only thing that's wet is my hands and my head, and I put a hood on so I don't get cold. But the rest of my body stays completely dry. So when I get out of the water, I dry my hands, my head off, and I'm done. I can go in these clothes underneath all, not get wet, which is nice. But even I enjoy the teaching part of it. I really enjoy it. I get the therapeutic attributes of being in the water, seeing the veterans aha moment and their smiles come out and their excitement come out because they're learning something that's fun and something that's they're gonna take with them.
Right.
That they, that's the most enjoyment I get. Scuba diving for fun, I'll occasionally every few years I'll go with the Waves Project down to Roatan, Honduras and do fun diving there, and that's usually 9 days of diving, and it's 4 boat dives a day and unlimited shore dives, so I can do 30 to 35 fun dives at my leisure there, but getting the veterans through the class, and I get to go out and to Mammoth Lake and teach them, and I encompass the training with fun parts, so we'll do part of the training and then we'll go on a little exhibit to go see where stuff's at and things like that. So I make it fun. If it's not fun for me, I'm not going to do it. That's the biggest thing my wife knows. If it's not fun for me, I'm out.
No, that makes sense. I think that works with a lot of us. If we're not interested, if it doesn't require my full attention, it's not worth my time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is why we don't hang out. I see. The truth is told.
You're a lot. Damn.
Wow.
That was supposed to be said in my head.
I thought I didn't know I didn't mute myself.
You were thinking out loud what you're doing.
Nah, man, you know I love you.
Yeah. Man, you guys are doing good things out there. I really appreciate you coming back. So why don't you tell us some of your numbers? How many students do you train in an average weekend? You know, what does your average cycle look like? And, you know, where's it going from here?
Well, it's only getting bigger and better. I actually have trained 3 or 4 people to become dive masters and everything. I can give you total numbers. I don't have specific numbers for Texas, but total numbers in certification just for this year for the Waves project entirely, that is California, Texas, and Florida. We did 324 certifications to date, and 242 of them were male, and 82 of them were female.
Nice.
So I like to see the female numbers coming up. I get a couple of classes ago, I had 6 females in the class, which was great. I have 2 females that help assist with the classes. John Flanagan's wife, Liz Flanagan, who's retired from the Navy, and then I have Courtney Hooker, who was in the Navy. She got out before retirement, but she comes out and she's a dive master, and she comes and helps out with the class and has fun, and makes it enjoyable and everything like that. So we have a good core group of veterans helping me out here.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear.
Yeah, that is. That's amazing.
And we've had quite a few guests that have been through or through the Waves project as well. If you guys remember or followed along far enough, we had Tim Stroud come on and he talked about how his epiphany moment when he was diving with you. That was really cool for him to share that with us.
In the pool or out?
Pool.
Oh, yeah.
Where he inhaled water,
Well,
and he said it took him back a little bit, and
Yeah.
I was like, for me, like I said, that was incredible for him to share, to be vulnerable like that, to share that.
Oh, yes.
Because some of that's therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, it comes in many, many different forms. Therapy isn't just sitting on the couch telling all your sorrows. It's being active in the community and then exposing yourself to something like that.
And the nice thing is that I have PTSD as well as a TBI, so I understand. So when I saw when it happened and we were underwater, he was giving me signs to go up. I'm like, no, what's wrong? Something's wrong underwater. He's like, he was just doing this, and I'm just like, slow down, breathe, what's wrong? And he's like, I just need to go up. So we finally went up and he inflated his VCD and we floated on the surface. And I didn't sit there and drill him with questions. You could see it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a PTSD veteran to PTSD veteran. You could see it. I just let him sit there and breathe and relax and everything like that. And he was like, I'm like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good. You're good? Yeah, I'm good. Okay. You want to go down and finish? And then we finished. We didn't even talk about it, what had happened to him, until after all the training was done. And I mean, later on that day at the pool, I'm like, and he told me, and I was like, wow, thanks for throwing something like that out on somebody, you know. And, you know, didn't know in the beginning, didn't know in the middle, never talked about it. But he worked through it all.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't pressured, he wasn't forced, there was no stress. None. Because I make my classes completely stress-free.
So, I know people in Texas are thinking, okay, diving where?
So we use the San Jacinto Maritime College pool in LaPorte, Texas. They graciously allow us to use their training pool. So there's no public there at all. It's 4 feet deep to 10 feet deep. And then we go down to Lake Jackson. There's a purpose-built dive park down there. It's called Mammoth Lake. Managed by a veteran, so we get benefits down there. It has a full-size C-130 sunk in the lake, which is a cool thing as well, because you all know Maggie Peterson, first female loadmaster in the Air Force. She always been in a C-130. On the ground and in the air. She'd never been scuba diving through a C-130. Now she's like, checked it off. She's been scuba diving through a C-130. So, yeah, and then her boyfriend, JD, Army, Purple Heart recipient, great guy. He went through the program recently because they're going to Honduras here next year in April. So he's going to have a great time there because he gets to go through the classes that Maggie already went through, the deep dive class, the rec class, the night dive class, which, the night dive class when I taught it was a full moon, so that was like the best night dive I've ever done. But, yeah, just, he has fun time. For our training, even though I'm teaching classes and everything, if I have the gear available and somebody says, hey, can I just come out to go scuba diving? Just come out, have fun, we go on, you can go on a dive, bring a buddy, or see if one of the other safeties is not engaged in the class at that time. Go diving, go have fun, or just hang out with the class and follow us along. You stay in the shadows, out of the way while I'm teaching, but then when we go on our little fun adventure, you're following along and you're going scuba diving with us. But you're getting what we call there's two things we call it. We either call it bubble therapy, or we call it vitamin C. SEA, vitamin C.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So, even though you're getting a bunch of vitamin D if you don't put sunscreen on. So, but yeah, it's just the camaraderie and keeping the veteran engaged and out and about and everything like that. So the downtime is kind of tough for some of the veterans that we go through. And I do have wetsuits, so if they want to, if they're willing to brave the cold water, tell them right now, I'm going to show up in a dry suit. I'm not going to put a wetsuit on. But if they want to go diving, I'll go diving with them. I don't have a problem with that. I'll bring the trailer down to Mammoth Lake. We do fun dives with just going out, like we did scuba poker for Bay Area Scuba Divers group. They did a fun dive fundraiser.
What is scuba poker?
So it's just like poker but underwater. So you go around to certain locations and you pick up a poker chip. And then you come up, bring them all back, and they're all different colors. And then you pick your hand as best hand, worst hand, all that. Just regular scuba poker, kind of like
that's what I figured.
Poker for a poker run for motorcycle.
Run,
yeah, exactly. Except for you're getting scuba chips because of the card. Even though I do have waterproof cards, but the cards are in there.
Yeah, if you don't know what a poker run or a scuba run is. You're playing the hand of poker, but you have like an assignment behind it. You have to go to a certain place, pick up your card, and you're trying to get the best 5 cards.
Exactly.
Like a hand of poker.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I definitely want to do this.
You should.
So we should.
We should.
Yeah. Anything to help get away.
Anything to help you.
Yeah.
This is all about the veteran and the dive buddy. It's built, there's a lot of husband and wives, spouses that have gone through the program, and my wife knows this, and I've told this story, and I've told it to her. Is my wife's never going to understand what I did as a police officer and what I did as a combat MP. She's never going to understand that. My wife doesn't scuba dive. She wants to, and all the girls keep on saying that they're going to get her scuba diving, which I'm like, okay, good luck. But I've seen other veterans go through the program and with their spouse, and the relationship changes because they have something in common they can talk about, something in common they can share. And if my spouse, she's the girl that wants to drink the foo-foo drink by the pool while I go scuba diving, that's her. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She wants to do that. There's other, and it may be down the road she'll want to get scuba certified, but she is not gonna scuba dive like I do. Like one time I went on a trip and it was 7 days, and so in 6 days, because you can't scuba dive 24 hours before you fly, so in 6 days I did 35 scuba dives. I was on a mission because I was 35 dives away from hitting 100 on my dive numbers, so I did 35 dives. But I was, so I was doing 2 dives. I was doing a shore dive in the morning. I was doing the forward boat dives in the afternoon. I was doing a twilight dive, and then I was doing a night dive all those days. So
Man, it sounds amazing. It sounds fun.
That's how
And
much I enjoyed it.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee.
Again, the whole benefits of it. There's a lot, and for us it means a lot too, because it's giving you a bigger purpose, right? And I mean you specifically, right? I feel. I mean, you've shared your story with us when you were on last time, but to go from not really knowing what to do or how to get involved to your wife saying, "Hey, you should really look into this and go diving." Not really. You should go diving.
Well, yeah, no, my wife actually signed me up.
Yeah.
She signed me up. She said, my wife, Natasha, she tried to do it in the beginning, but she has sciatica and everything like that. So, and out in California, you have to dive to the environment. So we had to wear wetsuits, really thick wetsuits. We had to put all the gear on to be able to go down underwater and stuff like that. So it was really hurting her back. Out here in Texas, we dive to our environment. Well, during the summer, the Gulf of Mexico is 86 degrees, so we get to wear rash guards and swim trunks. That's what we wear for scuba gear and the dive gear. Yes, you have to, during training, you have to carry the gear, jump in the pool, do certain things by getting out of the pool. It's just checks in the box that you have to do. Once you're certified, you can go and, if you're going on a dive destination or everything like that, and you're paying to go scuba diving, these guys will, hey, I got a back problem. They'll be like, okay, put your fins on. They'll scoot the gear to you, and you'll front roll into the water. And when you're ready to get out, you come up, they go, hi. Oh, yeah, you take your gear off. They yank it out of the water for you, and all you do is climb out.
There you go.
I mean, you're paying good money for a service. So.
Like the military. Do it for the standard once, and then after that, you can do it how you want to do it.
Exactly.
Like, hey, man, I got my test.
Exactly. Just the number one rule in scuba diving: never stop breathing.
Yeah, that's a good rule. That's a good rule. I can see that being a number one.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to follow you or find you or learn more about the Waves Project, how would they go about doing that?
So they would go to wavesproject.org is our website, and they would click on, if they're interested or want to read about it, it's all right there. If they want to fill out the application and get the process started, they'll click on the tab on the top, click on application, fill out the application. If they have a dive buddy, great. Put the dive buddy's information in there. Submit your VA rating letter. That's all we need. We don't want the DD-214 or anything like that. We just need your VA rating letter. And then you're going to submit it all back to California. They're going to look at it all. They're going to vet everything, make sure that it is a true veteran, because unfortunately we do have people out there trying to scam organizations. Once it's all vetted and everything like that, they're going to reach out to you, and they're going to send online forms that you just have to initial and sign online, and then they're going to send you the medical. Your medical is good for 1 year, so when you get your medical done, I get an email from our veteran liaison back at headquarters, and he goes, hey, go check your Dropbox, you have people in there, and then I would reach out and schedule classes.
So what is the cost to the veteran?
0.
From point A to point B?
From point A for basic open water. So the first step, which is what I did, is basic open water. You're going to become an open water scuba diver, okay? And then that's going to certify you to go scuba diving anywhere in the world, up to 40 feet, 40, 50 feet. So you're going to be able to go scuba diving anywhere. You go to the Bahamas that summer. You can go, hey, here's my card. I got, it's digital. You show them your phone. I got the card. We tell you if you're going to other countries to take a screenshot of it, save it in your phone just in case you can't bring it up online. Show it to them. They're like, okay, good to go. Either bring your gear or rent your gear, and you go scuba diving. They're like, okay, yeah, look, he knows what he's doing. Great. He came back. He didn't die. Well, yay.
Right.
But and then for veterans and dive buddies that want to continue and get more training, the Waves Project in California, Texas, and Florida, we offer more training. We do actually, there is a cost to that because we want to cover the administrative cost, because the initial program is free. So there's an administrative cost. It's very small, but it's kind of like a little bit of sweat equity into your certifications.
Right.
So the levels we have are open water level 1, and then there's level 2, which is your advanced open water diver. which is basically 5 specialties and 25 log dives. So we teach you in the app how to log your dives. So that's why I encourage everybody to always come out, fun diving with us in Mammoth, or go somewhere. You can go up to Humble and go to the Blue Lagoon up there, which is a rock quarry that has spring-fed water in it. You can go all the way up to Dallas. You can go to Athens Dive Park up there. You can go to Scuba Ranch up in Dallas. You can go, I don't know, so I've been waiting because of COVID and everything, they kind of got backed up, but there's a dive place. It's actually an old ICBM missile silo out in Texas, and it filled up with spring water. So there's no more rockets in there, but everything's in there. You have to carry all of your gear down. It's called Valhalla. Yeah.
Where's is that?
I don't know exactly. I know it's here in Texas.
Yeah.
But, and they do trips and everything, but they were so backlogged that they're not taking any more reservations until they get the backlog done.
Right.
But you can go there, and you have to be a certain level of diver to go in those because it's a confined location. So you have to be rec certified. You got to be, you want to wear a dry suit because of the water temperature, because spring-fed water coming out of the ground, unless it's a hot spring, is usually about 60 degrees, 65 degrees, and then it warms up when it gets up there. But there's no motion or anything, so you're swimming in where the guys used to sit there and wait to get the phone call to launch the ICBM.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
See, that's something that interests me. I'd be like, wow, you know. Like,
And there's tons of other places. I have a buddy who moved to, you might know Pops. He moved to Belize. And he's like, man, anytime you guys want to come down, I got a house. And you can go to the Blue Hole out in Belize, which is like, it's this big giant hole. And I think the story is that they detonated a nuke out there, and it made this big hole. And it's just, everything's grown back. It's beautiful. It's a destination dive. I mean, it's usually about $200 or $300, and you go out there. But you go out there and you get to do 2 or 3 dives on it, and it's, you know, you're out in the middle of the ocean, but you're in this historical place.
That sounds incredible.
Like one with Earth again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, it
Yeah,
sounds
really
like
connected.
Yeah, and there's tons of places to go diving. I mean,
something.
unfortunately, you can't go diving right off of Galveston. I wish we could walk out the beach and go diving. That's like only twice a year we're allowed to do that.
I mean, you can, but you probably lost.
Yeah, that's some serious navigation diving there. I mean, they do have dive charters out of Galveston and Corpus Christi that will go out to the flower gardens out in the Gulf of Mexico and to the oil rigs. And I yet to do an oil rig dive, but I really want to, because you can really see the ecosystem pecking order of little fish on the inside, bigger fish, bigger fish, bigger fish, and even bigger fish. And if one goes the wrong direction, the bigger fish get lunch. Basically what it is.
You know, since the last time that we had you on, when I hear people speak of Hawaii in Pearl Harbor, I always tell them about how you had that opportunity.
Yep.
Would you mind touching up on it again?
Yep. So in 2018, we were just new with partnering with the national parks, and our president and founder of the Waves Project, Steve Rubin, asked me if I wanted to go to Hawaii and dive on the USS Arizona with the national parks. And he told me what we were going to do is we were going to be collecting oil samples, because even to this day, the Arizona is seeping oil up and then it drifts off and everything. So they collect oil samples every year. And then they also they usually do it around December is when we go, because they like to encompass us into the December 7th ceremony for past or authorized people to be interned into the Arizona. So we get to sit in the audience, and we don't help out in the water. That's a totally different thing. But we get to do the oil collections and everything like that out there and everything. What Steve didn't know though is I actually have 2 great uncles who died on that day on the USS Arizona. One was a Marine and one was in the Navy, but they were brothers serving on the Arizona.
And for those of you younger generation, and you may not know, let's talk about December 7th, when Pearl Harbor got attacked. That's
That's incredible, man.
That is incredible.
Every time I hear that, I share that story,
Right.
and then I tell them, I was like, you gotta listen to the podcast. I said, the way I said it didn't no justice. The way, the way Jeff says it is completely different.
Yeah, it
So
was.
what did you feel when you went there? Did you kind of, I can only imagine
The
being
hair
part of
was
this memorable.
standing on my, just standing at attention. It took a couple days to get comfortable going in the water. And they knew that. The national parks did a great job. They understood because we told them about it and everything like that. So the first couple days we were doing tours and talking about what we were going to do and going and surveying where we were going to be and stuff like that. And then they would show me places inside the ship because they call it the sun. It's a LED light, but it can only be turned on underwater because it gets so hot. But it makes it look like daytime. It could be the darkest hole in the ship. You turn that on, it's daytime. And actually looked in the admiral's quarters on the starboard aft of the ship, and saw his desk and the bathroom and stuff like that. That's still sitting in there. All the stuff that didn't decay. But and then they're like, okay. Obviously, it's the national park, so they have photo people there and everything. They're like, oh, we need to find their names, and we did, and
Whoa.
and they actually let me go up to the wall and touch the names and everything like that.
And this is under the water?
No, this is the memorial's on the surface. So underwater, we went and looked at all that stuff, and they knew. They showed me where they put the urns in. I didn't go down in there because it's the rear smokestack. That's underwater. There's a smokestack. If you were to look at the picture above water, it's the one just behind it. They go down in there, and it's so dark they have to just follow a chain. They hold onto a chain and they hold the urn, and they just go down, and then they know they turn to the left, and they just put the urn in the ship. And a couple times they've told me that one time Brett, who's our photographer guy, he was doing it, and he said one time he was putting an urn into the ship, and he felt something grab the urn and pull it in to the ship. Like the battle buddies, the shipmates there were saying, "Welcome home, brother," type of thing.
Whew.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, yeah. He did that, and he's like, okay, turn to the chain, ascend, and go.
And you're by yourself at that?
They have there's a team of usually 3 or 4 that go do it, but when you're descending down to go, it's those 2 or 3 guys are sitting up high,
Right.
waiting for you. And they give you a certain amount of time, and then if something goes wrong, they'll go in and get it. So yes, he was down there by himself when that happened.
I mean, it's got to be an incredible feeling, but at the same time, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
humbling, honoring,
Yes.
like.
Yeah. So I mean, took a couple days of diving on the Arizona and everything like that. He showed it. You get you go through a museum and you have those people that are really well versed about stuff. Well, underwater you can't talk. So he's going through and he's lifting things of a plate that was destroyed right there on December 7th, 1941. Right where it's at. A shoe that was left on the deck of the ship near the blast where the torpedo came through and blew the front of the ship off. And just going through, he would lift certain things, and he would point at us, and then later on, when we're back at the surface, he would talk about it all. And it was like, how do you know where these things are at?
Yeah.
Right.
And he was, he's been on it so many times that he does that. So it's awesome.
It sounds incredible. It sounds like something that, I mean, I don't have no words. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes we get the Waves Project. We get invited, so we send a couple veterans every time we get invited over there to collect oil samples and do that because the average person or even the person with a lot of money does not get to scuba dive on the USS Arizona.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Wow.
It's sacred.
It's a national park.
Yeah.
Even though it's controlled by the Navy, it's a national park. So it's well taken care of. I mean, obviously, if somebody was, I'll donate $100 million to the national parks, they're probably not going to say no because they do make the money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, right? Just very sacred to us.
oh yeah.
I don't know, I feel a lot of us admire the World War II veterans because you would go for, you don't know how long you would go for. All of our, we talked about it last week, how our deployments are kind of set. You kind of know when your rotation is getting ready to come up, but that war, man, changed the course of.
Yeah, they're
A
gone
lot.
2, 3, 5, 10 years. I mean, it was just
Crazy.
and that was in all branches.
Yeah.
All branches. That wasn't just like the Navy and the Marine Corps gone for 6 months. Ooh. Or the Air Force gone for 4 months.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We
But
thought
then you
about
had the
that.
Army, and you go, oh yeah, oh your deployment's 12 months.
At
Oh
least.
wait, we're changing it to 18 months. You're like, seriously?
We were talking about that, so we were like, people that we saw there, they'd leave and then they come back and be like, oh, you're back too? It's like, I never left.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still here.
Totally. Yeah, when I transferred from the Navy to the Army, and they're like, yeah, we're going on a 1-year deployment. I'm like, what? You're joking with me, right?
Y'all didn't say this part.
Yeah, they're like, no. I said, you, what? I was like,
Yeah, that'll do it.
But, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Well, I want to take a moment and say thank you for sharing that.
Definitely.
You know, I think that really is an incredible story, and I've said it too. Your entire story is awesome. So I do want to challenge you a little bit. You say that you're not in sales, but you don't have to be in sales. You just got to be a great storyteller.
yeah, I know. But to talk to somebody about scuba diving and what it does for me, or you know what it does for me, because I can't explain what it does for any other person. I can say if it does even a quarter of what it does for me, for any of the other veterans, that they're going to get hooked. Yes, it's an expensive hobby, but they're going to get hooked. But to explain that and to sit there, it's like, you know, you have to tell them all the cool, fun stuff. And they'd be like, hey, you want to give me $1,000?
Yeah,
You know,
we talk about that a lot too.
It's
man,
like, you know.
the sale. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So
Just go ahead and hand over your credit card number,
exactly.
and I'll run it.
Yes, and be a sponsor.
Be a sponsor. Help us out.
Help the Waves Project out. Be a sponsor to us.
Help Charlie Mike out, man. Get him
buy,
out.
buy a hoodie, it's winter.
Yeah, really. We can get Charlie Mike with some underwater cameras going. We can
Yeah,
have a
that'll be some good
podcast
goals.
underwater.
That'll be some good goals.
Ooh, that'd be
Sign
crazy.
language.
That'd be crazy.
We can work it out. We'll work
I
it
don't
out.
know, with veterans and sign language, that would be kind of.
We just have
I don't
one
know
word.
about exactly. Exactly. You'd be like, oh my God, this is.
Wait, is he saying hello? Goodbye? How are you?
Is he wanting to go up? Are you number one? What is it?
It means everything.
Yeah, well, a lot more than you think.
Go ahead, man. Veteran Crisis Line. What you got, Will?
Hey, if you are a veteran and you're in crisis, please call the crisis hotline 988-PRESS-1 if you're a veteran. If you're in crisis, 988. You can also text that number, so be sure to reach out for help. Make sure there is resources available. And if you're a veteran, 988-PRESS-1.
And like Jeff said, it's the Waves Project. The website is right there. It's wavesproject.org. Be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
Be sure to sign up. The application's on there.
The only thing I have left to ask is, what does Charlie Mike mean to you?
Continuing the mission. That's, you know, a service member's entire life is continuing on mission. And I've known Will for a while, but when I heard about Charlie Mike, I was like, that's the best name ever. You know, Waves Project's pretty good. Wounded American Veterans Experience Scuba, we actually had somebody reach out from Canada recently, so our name doesn't have to change, because then it's Wounded Allied Veterans Experience Scuba. So we're good both ways. But when I heard about Charlie Mike, I'm like, dude, I Charlie Mike all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And that, you know, that's the whole thing. That's what we need as veterans, is to Charlie Mike. Continue the mission and find our passion to keep us going.
Right.
Not to keep us sane, not to keep us, we're going to get angry. All veterans hate stupid people, you know. It is what it is. Exactly. But continuing that mission, that's going to keep our passion and our fire going inside.
Mm.
That's 100% correct. I love it. With that, you guys, be sure to check out Charlie Mike Military Apparel. It's charliemikemilitaryapparel.com. Order your sweatshirts. We still have our t-shirt of the month is It's Okay Not to Be Okay. As always, use Charlie Mike for free shipping, or jump on your GovX account and save some money.
Yeah.
And if you haven't yet, be sure to follow my boy, William Gray Jr. on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for your daily motivational videos.
I appreciate
Hey,
that.
William, what's your handle on
Hey,
that?
my handle on all social are at WGARAYJR. It's W Gray Jr. I post every single day, sometimes the same video, but it's great. I absolutely love that. My mission is to help others do that. Charlie Mike continue mission. If you're a veteran, please connect. We're always here for you. If you need to get in touch with somebody, please reach out. And if you can, support these guys at Wave Project, man. They're doing amazing things. I love all the things you guys are doing on socials. I like to be included in that community, man. Just great organization, putting veterans in a situation to succeed to Charlie Mike. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Jeff.
And also, be
Thank
sure
you.
to check us. Oh, yes, thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries.
And always check out Charlie Mike, the podcast website, which is www.charliemikethepodcast.com. And hear what we got coming up. Catch up. If you missed one of our shows, it's on there. You can follow us on any podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, your mama and them, all that, whatever you use. Just look up Charlie Mike, the podcast. And if you have any thoughts, or you thinking about wanting to be a podcast guest, be sure to reach out to us. Let us know if you think about being a guest on Charlie Mike the Podcast. William's email is william@charliemikethepodcast.com. Hit him up, let him know. If you're talking, maybe even you're thinking about a sponsor, you want to be a sponsor of the show, be sure to hit William up, and he'll take care of you.
I will.
Guys, we love you all. You know, continue the mission. Continue to strive and wake up every day and continue to fight the fight. Man, without you, this world would not be the same. And, man, it's okay not to be okay.
It is.
It is. It's okay not to be okay, and reach out to a buddy. Reach out to somebody that you know is going to help you. I have veterans that reach out to me all the time that are not in scuba diving, and I get them help, or they just need a bend to ear. They just want to talk. They just want somebody to hear what they're going through. That's what 1-988 is. 2, better yet, a battle buddy, a veteran, somebody you know.
Yep. And follow us on our social medias. If you need anything, we're there to help as best as we can. Like we say, we're not counselors, but we will listen. And we will point you in the right direction. So, continue to fight the fight.